New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Good afternoon. This is Gina coming to you from Rhode Island, and I am so grateful to be here with you this afternoon. Thank you for visiting with me today on The Joy is in the Journey. And for those of you that are not familiar with the show, let me tell you a little bit what it is about. I absolutely believe joy is one of the greatest purposes of life. It's not to accumulate things. It's the joy right here and right now. And the joy is in the journey is about appreciating every step of the way. Unfortunately, we've come into a society where we look at what I call destination happiness. That when I have this, well, then I'll be happy. When I have the right mate, the right job, the right circumstances, when I have enough money, when I've lost enough weight, when I look like this or have that, then I'll be happy. But destination happiness never works because there's always something else to get. See, joy is always present right where we are. It's an inherent and innate quality of divine. It cannot be anything else. You cannot have some or unjoy. If you're happy, you're in that place of joy. And there are always things that can get you there. And that's what this show is all about, is finding new ways to celebrate life itself and to be happy. Right here, right now, not when something happens, but so that it makes more wonderful things happen. So right here, right now, the view is beautiful. And I'm grateful that you're here with me. So I get to celebrate this day and bring in people every week that we get to have this opportunity to talk about what makes us joy-filled, or what am I interested in, or what are some possibilities that you may be interested in, and celebrate life in new ways. So today I have a wonderful guest, a fellow classmate of mine at the Holmes Institute, who has finished his classes completely and is just going on the paneling, right on to tests and that kind of stuff, which isn't the fun stuff, but it is important. But he is also a pastor that has been basically since 2016. I'm going to give you a little bit of this bio, okay? Michael Mangus, who I'm sure some of you know his name because, of course, he is on our Friday's Fireside Chat. He is the host on the network. He also is on our prayer team. He does many evening prayers with us and for us. For all of you, he is part of our wonderful prayer team. And he has been spiritual director of Summit Spiritual Center in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio for over 20 years. And he's been a practitioner since 1999. And his personal growth and passion for religions and psychologies and philosophies have led him to the path of where he is today. So he has, a vibrant ministry of his own, and he especially loves doing weddings. And we'll talk about that because I can't believe it. He said he's done over 700 weddings, which is amazing to me. So he was ordained in 2013 by New Thought minister Bishop Carlton Pearson, and he holds licenses both as an amateur and commercial radio operator. So he does all kinds of things, and he is also the chaplain for his local Masonic lodge, which I also thought was wonderful, because chaplaincy is truly a calling in its own. So there's so much good that this man does, and it is a blessing to have him with us. Michael, welcome to the show. Welcome to The Joy is in the Journey.
Well, thank you, Gina. That was not, I'll pay you for that a little bit later. That wonderful.
All donations you can put right to New Thought Media Network and click on the donate button. That's good enough.
All right. Well, real good. Really nice to be on your show today.
And how wonderful. We've got people here watching from Africa and Kenya. What a gift that is. Hello to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Okesh Joseph, for being here today. And of course, Wayne Baldwin here. Yabadoo. Hi, Wayne, all the way from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So,
yep, he's easing down the road.
The whiz.
You know, the irony of that is yesterday I did a visioning with the Greater Boston Center, and we actually, that was what I got for my final, what else is there? And I saw the yellow brick road in Emerald City, and here we are today. Wayne, you didn't know it, but you were right on that road with me.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate being on the road, especially here on New Thought Media Network. I just always cherish this gift since I've started about a year ago. I think that this is a wonderful gift that we have here and the technology to be able to talk to people in Africa, to be able to talk to people in Canada and also around the world. So we have a wonderful opportunity, I think, with this network. It's just absolutely, it's something I think that I've wanted to do for years. Be associated with something that was broadcast related, but also reaches the world with this extremely powerful, practical philosophy. So I count it a blessing every second being on this network. So
it has been, it truly is for me as well. It's a gift to think about the opportunity of what it is. And as a practitioner, and everyone that practices science of mind and new thought is a practitioner. You don't have to be licensed to be a practitioner. It basically means you are in practice knowing this truth. And in that knowing, what a gift this network is to spread that good news of positive affirmation, positive acceptance and awareness, and so much good on this network. So I am so grateful to be, a part of that. And it just keeps growing, and there's so many more plans. And, that's what it's all about. I know when Rev Robert first came along, it certainly, there weren't all that many people that were thinking that it was going to grow anywhere near to where it has in just over a year. Imagine in another year, exponential. From the moment I met him, I said, this is going to be exponential, and it has been. So what a gift.
Yeah. And I think also the gift that all of our talents and abilities together, that especially for centers and ministers and practitioners who have struggled with this thing called media, that I think that we have an opportunity here to share what we've learned about media and about how to really get this word out again about this teaching. It's just that with COVID hitting last year, that what happened was that the church, or center, left the building. And that, what would happen if we did not have buildings? And so what we have now, right now, I know in most communities, they're having more of a hybrid service, but we have, again, wonderful opportunities here to minister. I was talking to a colleague of mine the other day, and what they're going to do, they're going to try to split off their audiences. They're going to have something for online, and then they're going to have something for people in who come to their service. So I think that the opportunity that we have today to reach the world is just excites me, because we have this, with a lot of people, even in this country, claiming to be either agnostic or spiritual, not religious. I think that we have an opportunity to reach out to those people and say, listen, there is a practical spirituality that is based upon the teachings from not only the Old and New Testament, but all the major scriptures in the world. We have an opportunity to share an extremely practical way of living that's empowering, that allows people to change their reality, that allows people to accept their own innate divinity. And I think that that's something that's exciting about New Thought and or what we teach here in the Science of Mind, is that the kingdom of heaven, again, Jesus said, I'll quote the New Testament, Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is not someplace out there, but the kingdom of heaven is within us. That the tabernacle of the, I'll go Christian on you, the Holy Spirit is within us. So when we're walking down the street there, from the Jewish tradition, they say that angels go before us, saying, ringing bells and saying, make way for a child of God. So I think that we have, again, and the reason why and again, I've counseled clients, I've worked with myself. The reason why people's lives sometimes are so, chaotic, is because, again, that we have not claimed our power, and we've not said, okay, listen, somehow or another, this needs to straighten out. And the straightening out, again, is it's always within us. It's not something that's out there. Now, we may have wonderful coaches and practitioners like yourself, and we may also have other ministers and maybe some other wonderful guides along the way. But it all points back to us, that as we shift our thinking, as we change our thinking, as this is more than positive thinking here, as we change our thinking, and I say align our thinking with the divine, what happens is our lives absolutely change and go in the other direction. And so, see, that's what's powerful about this. Again, that there is, and from my from our tradition, there is no God in the sky. There is God. We have
God is also the sky.
Yes, God is. Yes,
I think,
God. Go ahead.
No, I think that what's important that I love about our teachings is, first of all, that it is a teaching, that it is not one and done. This is all there is. This is all it'll ever be. It is expansive and open at the top, because Ernest Holmes knew above all that he didn't know all. And that's what we have to remember. But I also love that it's not our way or the highway. It's not just this. Wherever you are, I look at spirituality as the mountain, and that there is no top. It's a forever kind of a thing. The top is just transcendence. So when I look at it in terms of the mountain, and wherever you are on the mountain, good for you. And the more that you're on the mountain, the happier you are, in my personal opinion, because that soul, I believe where it's the three-legged stool, that, physical, spiritual, and, and emotional. And that is your soul, is one of those legs. And if you're not nurturing your spiritual connection, you're going to fall off the stool. There is no balance when we're not acknowledging that part of ourselves that we cannot see. There's something greater than us, and we get to use it. And it's our use of it that allows us to create our life in amazing ways, and not forceful, and not, it doesn't have to be hard work. It can be a joyful work. It's supposed to be a joyful journey. It's just a question of what we believe. And it's that faith that puts it into place.
So people will ask me, they say, well, how do I change my life around? Well, I'll give you the formula here. Just take 2 sheets of paper side by side. First sheet of paper, put down what you're experiencing right now. Just put it down. Just, no judgment, just put it down. The second sheet, then put what you would like to experience. And then in a very great, I'm so grateful and thankful that I'm experiencing this. I'm so grateful and thankful. And so then what you do is you tear up the first sheet and focus on the second sheet. Where your focus goes, your power flows. Where your focus flows, your power goes. And I think that is one of the things that I really had to learn within science of mind, religious science, whatever that you want to call it, new thought, is that, again, and also to take responsibility for my life. It may happen not here,
but it's important too with that. I just want to say one of the things to remember with that is oftentimes people hear that and think, I didn't want this. I didn't create this. There's no judgment in that.
None.
It's simply witnessing, where am I and where do I choose to be? If you're getting in your car and you're going to drive from wherever you are home, you're simply going to drive home. You don't have to judge that you're not home yet. You don't have to judge that you've chosen to go. It's where do you want to be? And then you get there. And that's what it's about. It's simply witnessing. Okay, and how did I get to where I am? And is it where I want to be? Okay, yeah. Now what? And that's all it is. Because the judgment takes away our power.
Yeah, and in what I just said, this is not about judging or saying something's right or wrong. This is about saying, okay, how can I be the best person that I can be? How can I channel this energy of God? Thomas Troward said that we are not co-creators, that what we are is we are infinite channels of the divine. So how do we channel that energy in a productive way? See, we're channels anyhow. Okay. So what New Thought teaches us is that whole idea that not only of how powerful we are, but the relationship that we can have with the divine. That I think that, and sometimes that in our teaching of the law, or of our teaching of how to manifest stuff, that again, the reason we teach you that, especially in the beginning classes, is because that it really shows how powerful that you are. So we take it a step further.
Yes, because that's one of the misconceptions, I think, with our teaching sometimes, is people walk in and they want the parking spot, they want the financial abundance, they want the stuff. And it stays at the surface. And that's the equivalent of someone who wants to be a magician stopping at a simple card trick. You don't stop because you now know one trick. It's not about that. It's about becoming that which you choose to see. It's changing. We are the magicians and the authors in our life. And what is it that we want and what do we choose? So yeah, it's definitely, that's great, because people are thinking, great, I want stuff, but it's not, it's where we start. It's right. Not, in no way is that the end point.
Yeah. And I think that, again, it points towards really, and this is something I've had to learn from my not only Holmes Institute instructor, but also a class that I attend on Wednesday evenings by Dr. Thomas Sanar from California. That
is amazing.
Oh, he is. And the one thing, again, the whole idea that he has taught is not only are we a mind science, but we're also a very mystical tradition that and again, I've been in this for many years. I think what drives people, or people leave, is because that they don't feel that connection with spirit. From the song in the garden, it says, it walks with me, it talks with me, it tells me I am its own. So that kind of relationship that lives in me, as me, and through me, that no matter what is going on, that I have that peace that passes all understanding, like Jesus said, that
And
relationship
anyone,
with the divine. So, and anyone can have that. It's that whole idea of really of just turning to the divine that's within you, turning to that and just and surrendering to that divine within you, and just saying, just show me,
yes,
show me where I need to go, show me.
it's
And I think
that
that
we are the beloved of the beloved. And I love my favorite book by Ernest Holmes by far is This Thing Called You, because that is a love story. It's a love story from the beloved to the beloved. And anyone that is feeling that they're longing for that intimacy in their lives, I encourage them to read that book. And at any given day and any given moment, open up to a random page, and there's a million spots. Well, there's at least dozens, to say the least, that you could, any given page, that you're going to feel that intuitive, this is what I need to know right now. It's the mysticism of spirit that I love, and I love about our teachings. And you're right that they don't really mention it often enough.
Well, and I think that there are us who are becoming vocal about it, because I think because this is important. It's not, again, that we the whole idea of, again, the science of mind being again a feel-good philosophy, which it is, but the whole idea of us just really just embracing things within us, the shadow side, and allowing that to not to act out, but allowing that to be a part of our being, that again, that we love every part of ourselves. And that again, that's part of that mystical experience, that again, that no matter again what is going on around us, we are the tabernacles of the Most High. We are spirit in form. We are not it. I want to make that real clear. Some people say, well, you all say that you're God. No, not in the transcendental sense, but we are the infinite expression of that God presence in our world. So that's the reason why, again, for all my Bible students, we were made in the image and likeness of our Creator, man and woman. So because of that, we have the ability to create like our Creator. And that's what brought me into the science of mind so many years ago, is that my life wasn't working. It felt really empty. I felt a victim. And so then I started to attend a science of mind study group. I got introduced to the teachings of Ernest Holmes. For me at that time, I was a evangelical Christian. I had to put the Bible aside until a few years later, I was able to pick it back up again and see all the wonderful jewels that are in that book. And I don't know about you, Gina, but whenever I wanted a good discussion within Holmes Institute, I would always say, well, do you think that science of mind is a Christian religion? Well, Holmes thought it was.
Well, he was, he was the creator of science of mind, and he considered himself a Christian, and he did believe it, but it wasn't a Christian in the sense that people think of it. It wasn't about just thinking about the Bible as that is the only word, whereas he looked at it as what Jesus actually said was a guide. But that doesn't mean that everything that's read in the Bible or read into the Bible or spoken to claim to be in the Bible, because it's somebody else's perception, is actually what was. And that's what's important. I think unfortunately, I think it's gotten a bad rap because there's a lot of people misrepresenting it for their own convenience. And I respect anyone's religion or spirituality. I get it. I respect it. And it doesn't have to be my truth.
Right.
And, you know, I don't need to be against anything or anyone. And I know that I can learn from every one of them.
And that's been a part of my path too, is that is to embrace not only Christianity, but to embrace all the religions and say, listen, there have been at times avatars, teachers who have come to help us at times in our lives or times in our planet's history to call forth that divinity that's within us. So the science of mind, our this wonderful teaching shows us again a way. Again, the early Christian church was not called the Christian church; it was called the way. So that's and so for the question I get asked is, well, what about Jesus and all of this? And again, I say very nicely, I say, well, you probably take Jesus as Savior Redeemer, because that is from that's Christian thought. But in the science of mind, that we revere Jesus as way shower, teacher, much like the early church did. They revered him again as someone who was special from God, who went ahead and revealed God not only in himself but in other people. So that I think and that's the wonderful thing about now. I think of myself as a Christian, as a follower of the teachings
The
of
Christ
Jesus
consciousness.
Christ.
Right. That's what we're striving for. That, you know, it was Jesus performed these miracles because of the faith that Jesus had. He knew who and whose he was. And when we walk into treatment and we are sitting down as a practitioner, and again, that's whether you're a professional or not, it's knowing the truth. And that when that truth is declared, it has power, and that the law is the one doing the work. The Father, you know, the Father within me does the work. So it's not about me in any way. And I love the Emerson, you know, get the, you know, the bloated nothingness out of the way. When my ego can be in a place of openness and I can allow truth to flow, it feels good.
Yes.
And it's being in that place of knowing. I look at truth because everybody thinks theirs is the truth. Everybody believes, or they wouldn't believe it. I mean, nobody's saying, I got a lie for you. Why don't you take this? No one's going to say that. We are in this place of truth is something to me that it resides within. Like you can feel it. When someone says it, you feel it in your gut. You know it to be true. Not because someone said it, it's a knowing. And that's what faith comes down to, is that place of shifting what I know into fruition.
Yes. No, I think that, again, that one of the things I teach when I have the opportunity is the whole idea of, again, that personal relationship with the divine as me. I think that is something that, again, that a lot of centers and some ministers do not teach, that depth of spirituality. That spirituality is meant to be, again, that relationship. This is not religion, okay? Religion points towards spirituality. All the great mystics and avatars, again, they had their religion, but again, they went beyond the religion to experience their own essence. And that's what we teach in the science of mind. Holmes being in Tom Senner's class, Holmes meant this to be, again, a mystical religion, a mystical path towards the divine that we all must take. We may use a practitioner or a minister to guide us along the way, but again, that path is within us, that secret place of the Most High. And from that point of power, then we can go ahead and we can pray not from our ego self, but we can pray from our God self. It's a much different prayer than maybe that I was taught growing up or you were taught growing up. So it's that people will ask me, I had an interesting comment the other evening I did the evening prayer, and young man goes ahead and writes, and he says, I don't pray. I use spiritual mind treatment. And I thought that was an interesting response. It's
affirmative prayer. It is prayer. That's why we call it prayer time. For those of you, one of the things I did mention that you were part of our prayer team. We have, for people that if you're feeling stuck, we actually have prayer requests, prayer@ntmedia.org. You can reach out at any time, and you'll have us as well as other ministers and practitioners that are knowing your truth. And that's prayer@ntmedia.org. So it is prayer. It's affirmative prayer. It is treatment. And it is, again, to me, the word treatment can scare people away. But if there is something that is misaligned within that alignment, we are treating it. We are treating it into alignment. Just like if you go to a doctor, they're treating you for whatever it is that may ail you. Well, we're here knowing the truth to put that alignment back in.
So one of the things, again, being with Tom Senar over the past 3 years, ever since I took his classes in Holmes Institute, I've been in one of his private classes ever since then. One of the things that we are taught is this whole idea of commune in command. Commune in command. That, and this is from Troward, is that when we go ahead and we do the first steps of treatment, recognition and unification steps, they're not just words. It's something that we deeply sense, that we deeply feel, and that before saying the words of the rest of the treatment is that we commune with that presence and power within us. So that's God giving to us. That's the divine giving to us wisdom, guidance, direction. And then we command the law from that inspiration. Again, it's in there. It's mentioned in the 5 steps, but a lot of times, again, and I know too, I've prayed for my ego self and have gotten stuff. And again, it has ego all over it. So I think a safer way to pray is, again, that when we really use the steps of recognition, unification, realization, thanksgiving, and release, when we really use those steps as, again, not a guide, but we use those steps to really to feel that oneness, to feel that presence and power, and then to speak our word in confidence that, again, that a power much greater than us that the answer is already yes, because we've spoken it in the affirmative. Holmes meant this also to be, again, a way of effective prayer. And I agree with you. I think sometimes when people say, well, spiritual mind treatment, it again scares the heck out of them. But it's not meant to be. It's meant to be, again, a study of what makes prayer effective. And I think that's something, I even did a research project for my bachelor's degree about prayer using practitioners. I think that, again, that a lot of the things that we've, again, in the study of prayer, a lot of things that the last big prayer study was back in, I think, 2006, 2007. A lot of money was spent on it, like $2.3 million. It was over in Boston. It really did. The results were kind of up in the air. There wasn't really any kind of conclusive results from that study. However, when taken in the form of, and I could see it when I read the study, I said, people were given the opportunity. They were asked to pray an intention. Okay, to pray an intention that these individuals get well. That was the intended thought. However, you were speaking from people who had a lot of different backgrounds in prayer. So this was a kind of a different form, and I think that's what kind of skewed the results in that. So prayer, again, in an intention form, when we go ahead and we speak our word as an intention, again, the answer to the prayer is in the prayer itself. When we remember that, what happens is, again, that we have manifestation. So and again, this is kind of pointed in all the prayer studies. One thing, Gina, they did after that 2006 prayer study, which they spent a lot. Herbert Benson, the guy who did the relaxation response, he was involved in it, spent a lot of money on it. And then after that, a lot of the press said, well, prayer doesn't really work. But there was a study the next year by another researcher that showed that all the prayer studies together show that prayer is effective as a healing modality and a healing tool. So it's just,
it's coming to a whatever language that people are comfortable with too is the important thing. Is there is an intimacy in this. Yes, there's a way to do it, and it's practicing it, because everything is a practice. That's what we do. We have spiritual tools here, and it's a practice. One of my affirmations that I use is that, spirit in me, as me, is me. And if I'm in a place that feels misaligned, and everyone has those days, it's so important. We don't live on the mountaintop. It's just that simple. We have everyday life and everyday stuff. There's grief, there's loss, there's stuff that happens. There are days that we may not be feeling our best. And in those moments, that's when I remind myself who and whose I am. Mm-hmm. And it's coming into a practice so that on our worst days, we still remember. And on our best days, we're soaring, and they last a lot longer.
And that I saw a meme on Facebook. It says, it's really easy to practice spirituality on your yoga mat or your meditation cushion. It's when you go out into the marketplace and someone's screaming at you that that's the opportunity that we get to really to practice what we've learned on the meditation cushion, what we've learned on the yoga mat, that we can take that calm and peace that we have experienced there. And for me, one of the things is the difference between responding and reacting. Yes. Before I got into this teaching, I reacted a lot. People thought I was extremely angry. They were almost afraid of me. And that what has happened over the years for me is that through, again, community, people pointing out things to me, is that I've learned how to respond appropriately when it comes up. Now, there may be some moments in which at that moment that I really can't respond. So I really just kind of just take that aside and then, go think and pray about it before I go ahead and do that. But that whole idea of developing the witness within me, that witness that says, I don't know, that's maybe there's another way. That witness self.
And we don't have to know. That's the gift too. We don't have to know. There doesn't need to be pressure on us that way. No. That's a gift in itself that the more I learn, the less I know. The more I realize I have no idea. There is so much out there that I don't know, and I don't need to know. There is something bigger than me, and I get to use it. How simple is that?
Yeah. And
the power that rose the sun this morning and will set it tonight, I don't get the timer on that. It already has it. I can use that if I choose. Yeah. Or not. And not using it, whether it's consciously or not consciously, is still using it. Right. And that's the kicker, is that we are using it whether we're intentional about it or not. So it's an empowering gift to know that I get a choice. And when we use these tools, which are spiritual practices, and teachings, which are, gifts in themselves, there's that deeper understanding of how to use it.
So our program is called Joy in the Journey. So I just wanted to share a couple of things that really give me joy. And one of the things is what you're seeing here with this microphone. This is a manifestation. I saw this picture back in 2015 when I was in broadcasting for many years, and then I let it go. I worked for the county as a public servant. And then again, in 2015, the radio bug started coming up in me again. And within 6 months, I got not only my amateur license, but also my commercial license. But I saw a vision of me doing this for the rest of my life. So this is a part of what really, again, brings me joy. And again, this whole system and studio that I have here, again, it's a manifestation of spirit. It was given to me as a kind of a parting gift from when I left the Pittsburgh area. But again, it's really given me the opportunity again to speak to the whole world. We have the opportunity here, Gina, to really bless the whole world, not just having people come to our centers, but having people come to, our community here online, where we're able then to share, and we're able then to learn together. And again, the programming that I believe that we have on our network is absolutely wonderful. With the Science of Mind book study on Saturday mornings that we have, with the different programs, especially on Sunday mornings. We have two of the major churches in our movement, from Denver and also from Midtown Atlanta. We have the opportunity again to share their consciousness with us. And so, see, that's the reason why I ask people on my show, I'm going to ask on this show here, if you're blessed by these programs, if you're nurtured by them, then please consider being a monthly donor to us here at New Thought Media Network. We are, again, we were blessed the other day with a wonderful gift grant that we applied for media equipment that we're going to be using, again, mostly at conferences, again, to get the thoughts and ideas of New Thought leaders from not only Centers for Spiritual Living, but also from Unity and other places, so that, again, that those thoughts and ideas go out into the world to bless people's lives. So again, and I highly suggest, go to ntmedia.org/donate. When you do that, I talk about the double blessing. You get the blessing of giving, but you also get the blessing of knowing that your gift is used to touch individuals on the whole planet. And that's what
I wanted to just mention the Hefferland Foundation is who that grant came through. And I do want to give them a shout out. And I actually offered them to come onto this show, to be honest with you. I put an extended out to them because they've helped me get through ministerial school. If it weren't for them, I don't know how I would have. So they help so many of us in so many ways. They help a lot of centers as well to get to that place of. So there's so much good that happens behind the scenes in different ways. And anyone that has a passion or a gift or whatever it is that's on your heart, go out and trust that spirit will flow in that direction. You don't have to know the how. The gift is the law. That's what it is.
Yeah, and not knowing the how, I think, is really a scary part, because people say, well,
jump in.
How are you going to do that? Well, listen.
In the water is fine. Spirit's got the flow.
Spirit's got the flow, and also that that's for God's the Ways and Means Committee. Okay, so that's how it's going to happen. If I point my direction and my intention, again, power flows where my intention goes. So if I point my intention towards something that, again, is heartfelt, something that's been on my heart to do, then believe me, that Spirit will provide the ways and the means for you to accomplish that here now. And again, for me, this network is a part of that, where I get to use my talents and abilities again in front of the microphone to be able to share with the world again that, how holy that individuals are, how sacred individuals are, how we are all one with that one. And I want to share something also.
We are all individualized waves in the ocean, but it's all the same water and it's all the same stardust. It's beautiful. And after your thought, I have a question we're moving along and I haven't gotten a chance to ask you much. So I want to kind of move into some specifics before the hour is up. Go right ahead. Share your thought.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you, what brings you joy? In addition to the teachings, in addition to New Thought Radio, what brings you joy? What makes your heart sing?
I think for me, what makes my heart sing is not only doing this, but also, again, being of greater service to the area. I mean, being of greater service to my area. One of the ways that I do that is through, I have a very active wedding ministry.
700. That's a lot of couples.
Well, let me share with you why I get the business is because I am clergy, and also that because in a lot of areas it's really easy to get ordained. Okay, you just go into Universal Life Church and you get ordination papers. Well, one of the things I think, and nothing wrong with that. I really want to make that clear.
Whatever your call to Spirit is, it is
right.
And I know for myself, it's been 10 years and you've been a lot longer than that. You've actually been in this teaching for over 20 years. So you've literally been studying and doing the work behind it for over 20 years.
Yeah. And with our loving attitude that a lot of times that if someone in our area, I know, and I'm speaking about Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, tri-state area, that they really want someone, again, who's been trained, who's been to seminary. It really is extremely difficult because of unfortunately the judgmental attitudes of a lot of clergy. And I've had to explain this to brides when they call me up 2 weeks before their ceremony and said, pastor called and said, I can't do your ceremony, click. All right. So a lot of times what that is, and I've had to explain it. I said, if pastor found out or the minister found out that you were living together, if you have children out of wedlock, or if this is your second or third marriage, is more than likely is you're not going to be able to have, again, a regular denomination pastor do it. See, that's where we come in our wonderful churches, is we don't have those kind of judgments here. We again, I was telling Gina beforehand, I'm doing a wedding of a wonderful couple. They have a 10 and 11-year-old young men, and they've been together for, about like 15 years, and they want to get married. And what happens again is when they go to some of the regular pastors is unless they stop living together for a time, that's what a lot of the pastors will do. They'll say, well, you need to leave. You need to have one person leave, and then on your wedding day, then that's fine. Again, all of that stuff. So what do you have kids? Where's mom?
We don't even need to get into all that. It's not, we don't want to have judgment of the judgment. We just simply know love is love. Love is beautiful. And we're here to assist in any way we can. And that's what it really, we don't have to be in a place of, there's no againstness here. That's the gift of what we do. And what a joy it is that you offer this to people that have that need. And it is a gift.
And I don't say that in against. I say that we are non-judgmental, and that we're able then to step in and say, listen, with our expertise, uh, our love, our training, which again that I received more train. I get the story about how I got to do this was, again, I was the spiritual director of our center for 2 years, and then somebody asked Jill, who was on a member of our board, asked me to do her wedding, and that. So I had to apply to the state. I got it. I got the certificate from the state, and then it wasn't even warm out of the envelope, in which I got a call from one of our other ministers within our group, our music minister, who said, guess who's my backup this year? So John has done close to 2,700 weddings. So what he taught me was a system of how to be able, again, to work with people. And he said this, he said, Mike, he said, just marry them, don't hassle them. And that's exactly what I've done for the past 14 years. I just marry them. I don't hassle them. So, but again, it's a great, that to be able to do that and to offer those kind of professional services as clergy, I think that's really just a wonderful thing that we're able to do because of our teaching, that non-judgmental attitude comes from our teaching. So
tell me about your teaching chapter. We don't have a lot of time left, but let people know, how do they get a hold of you if they're in the Ohio area? How do they find you?
Well, it's real simple right now because we're online. So if you go to summitcsl.org, summitcsl.org, you get all the information about our Zoom call. Also that you get information about our Facebook page. We have, anytime that yours truly is on New Thought Media Network, we stream that on our Facebook page through Summit CSL. So there's just some wonderful prayers, wonderful Friday evening chats. Let me briefly talk about the show on Friday nights that I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when COVID hit last year, I was over in Pittsburgh, and I had
those that don't know about it, there's the times and everything.
Yeah, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern here on the New Thought Media Network. So I had a choice, and I said, well, yeah, I could teach the teaching, and I have to put the and or not but and I wanted to do it in such a way that was contemporary, that applied our teaching to what was going on in the news. So what was going on with COVID and everything else. And mostly during COVID, I just acted as a cheerleader, saying, listen, we're going to all get through this here. We need to have the mindset that we are not trapped at home. We are safe at home, that this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to take that big, deep breath and big, deep pause. And we're seeing the results of that now, with many people saying, I don't want to go back to that job that I was at because it did not give me joy to go to. So you see a lot of people now, especially in the workplace, going, there's a better place for me. There's a better place for me to use my talents and abilities. And so that came from that great pause. So people say, again, in the news, you know how negative, again, COVID was. The gifts of COVID were that we all had to take that big, deep pause. We all had to start taking a look again. When you're with yourself, you tend to take a look at yourself and start saying, okay, well, listen, this is what I'm dealt with here. What can I do with the time to make me better? Because this will end. And so that was my encouragement then. My encouragement now is still the same thing. Yes, we still have COVID, and that we can always thrive through it. Again, I encourage people to take care of themselves, to follow the science. I think that, again, that as good religious scientists, that we are taught to follow the science. And that I think that it really, so that's the show. And so then what I have is a guest on to either explain a New Thought principle, or what I do is I have someone on to talk about the news. And Gina, guess what? You're going to be on my show tomorrow evening as the head of our prayer ministry to talk about prayer. Because again, I think that there are a lot of misunderstandings about prayer, and against us being on Facebook and YouTube, that for a lot of people, this is the first time that they've ever heard someone pray like we do.
Well, there's a lot of people that have never heard of New Thought, and there's a lot of people that they think of religion and they're completely turned off, whether it was because of a family that they were in or raised in, or it's just something that they don't think fits in their life. Whereas we are a practical spirituality. It's every day. It's part of living, and what we offer is so much bigger than that. And it's a gift. And it's just, we have the opportunity to reach people in a different way, and that it is a gift. And I believe that when we see people that have light in their eyes, they have a spiritual connection. Yes. I have never met anyone whose eyes didn't, because there's a light behind them. When somebody is spiritually connected, there's a light. It's the divine light within them that is shining. Now, it may be from nature. It may be however they connect. But I've never met anyone with light in their eyes without a divine connection. So if you want to shine, if you want to truly live, and that doesn't mean that in their lives everything was great by any means. It simply means that there's a faith that lights the way.
Yes.
So, I think it's a wonderful teaching, and I'm grateful to be here with you, to be here and talk about it and explore that. And I look forward to tomorrow evening. And it is hard to believe, but it's already, we're getting to that point. We're closing up an hour. I'm so grateful to have you here. Time always flies. It absolutely does fly. And I just wanted to ask you, if people needed to reach out to you, do you have an email address that they can reach out to you at?
Oh, absolutely. If you and again, it's real easy. It's Pastor Michael Mangus, just like it says on the banner there, Pastor Michael Mangus at gmail.com. Pastor Michael Mangus at gmail.com. I do wonderful practitioner sessions, spiritual coaching. I also do wonderful ceremonies, as you well know. If you're in the Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia area, would love to talk to you about helping and assisting you and your family to be together. And again, that's part of what I do. Is I help families again to make that commitment together. So again, when I do have a blended family like that, we have all the kids participate in the ceremony.
Absolutely. So thank you for being here. And I want to let people know that if they want to reach out to me, it's Gina@believeinouttoday.com. And you can reach me and for either spiritual coaching or life coaching, if practitioner session, whatever it may be, know that I'm here. I'd also love any comments or suggestions on this show or on the Peace Circle, which is on Monday evenings, and absolutely would love for you to join me Monday evenings. Just like we talk about joy here, we talk about peace at the Peace Circle. So how do I become that change I wish to see in the world? And again, remember that we are here at this network because of people just like you, that whatever you give goes right towards making this not only the platform bigger, but to share this with the world. ntmedia.org, and just click on donate. So I thank you all for being here with us. Thank you, Pastor Michael, for sharing the good news with us and celebrating all that we have here. I love the term, we happy few that get to know. And I look forward to that few being greater and greater and greater numbers.
Well, thank you, Gina, and thank you for your service, not only to our wonderful network, but to the world. I mean, your light shines very, very brightly. And
thank you.
And we really, I know I appreciate that so much. So thank you.
Blessings and blessings to all. Have a wonderful week, and actually catch us every morning. We are both on the prayer team. So it's 8:15 a.m. and p.m. Central Time, or 10:15 a.m. and p.m. on Mountain Time. And you can see us. There's always good news. There's people from the team that are there sharing that, knowing that highest knowing of love, joy, and faith, and but also, of attraction, of claiming the good that is our birthright. So in that knowing, I am knowing you're good and each one's good, and I celebrate it. Have a blessed day. Namaste and blessings to all.